3.5 Axis Fire Fist is one of the decks that suffered greatly from what is called preemptive hits. In September of 2013, on the largest Forbidden Unlimited list we had seen at that time, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit was unrightly put to 1, leading people to forego the level 3 aspect in the Fire Fist deck, thus making it purely 4 axis. However, with the power from Primal Origin and Dragons of Legend released at the tail end of HAT format, 3.5 Axis Fire Fist can become a perfect mid-range deck, as it can play both combo and control. If you wanna play Fire Fists in HAT format, this is the way to do it. This is my take on Fire Fists for HAT format. Start the profile off, I play one copy of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit, similar to a Dianea or a Blizzard, can bring back your lower level Fire Fist monsters from the graveyard. Spirit is the main way to start our combos, and luckily is very searchable despite being limited to one copy. Next I play 2 copies of Rooster. When he's special summoned by the effect of a Fire Fist monster, you can search a Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand, and that includes the summon of Spirit, since he does not negate the effect. So this is a very powerful combo, allowing you to get your engine going. And Rooster has an additional effect of being able to swap out a fire formation from your field with one in your deck. Next I play 3 copies of Leopard. Leopard is sort of like a lone Fire Blossom, in that you contribute him or another Fire Fist monster the turn he is summoned to set a spell trap. That's it for the level 3s. Moving into the 4 axis part of the deck, I play 2 copies of Fire Fist Bear. I'm only playing 2 copies of Bear because he's highly searchable, and I already play enough normal summons in this deck. Then I play 1 copy of Gorilla. Both of these allow you to get to your Fire Formation spells by either doing damage or destroying monsters by battle, and has a bonus effect of popping spell traps or monsters with their effects. Then I also play 1 copy of Dragon. Whilst not being a starter or a particularly great extender by himself, when you get to the late game with multiple Fire Formations face up, he becomes a 1-card rank 4, allowing you to get to your Cardinal, which is a very powerful rank 4 play. And for the last archetypal monster, I play 1 copy of Wolfbark, naturally being a part of the 4-axis Fire Fist deck. As this, along with the Fire Formation spells, is quite a slim engine, I decided I wanted some supplementary engines. And the best splashable engine is of course the artifact monsters, being 3 copies of Artifact Moral Attack, being a pop when he's summoned, 2 copies of Artifact Beagle Attack, being able to pop your back row, in that being your artifacts, to summon them and get additional bodies, and 1 copy of Artifact Scythe, a card a lot of people have not utilized yet in HAT format, but I believe is very good at shutting out their entire turn. Moral attacking away 1 monster when they bring back their entire graveyard with Soul Charge isn't very efficient, but by disallowing their usage of the extra deck, and them not having a battle phase thanks to Soul Charge, can allow you to come back. The reason why I'm playing 2 copies of Beagle Attack whilst being a brick, it is by far the best artifact to pair with your Ignition, seeing as you can use Ignition on your face down Beagle Attack in the opponent's turn, set either a Scythe or a Moral Attack. Beagle Attack then comes into play, and on the following chain link allows you to pop one of your face downs, being Scythe or Moral Attack, or both if you happen to draw one of them, summon it out, and now you have 2 level 5s to go into rank 5 play on your following turn. Since I wanted to play free Ignition in this deck, it made sense to play 2 copies of Beagle Attack for the grind game, along with the 1 Scythe. But we'll talk about this more when we get to the rest of the spell cards. And for the last monster in the main deck, I play 3 copies of Traptrix Mermelio. In that she's level 4, she's a very good target for our own Soul Charge to make a rank 4 plays, whilst also being a very good starter turn 1 to just grab a trap card. For the spells, I play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. Tenki allows you to grab any of your Beast Warrior monsters from your deck, and by playing the free Tenki it allows us to search either Dragon, Wolfbark, or Spirit when we need them. So while they're all at 1 in this deck, I'm effectively playing 4 copies when I want to see it and 1 when I don't want to see it. Not accounting for searching Tenki from your deck of course, which the Bear can also do. And with the Tenki we're essentially playing 5 copies of Bear. And to go along with the free Tenki, I also play 2 copies of Tensu, granting you an additional normal summon for a Beast Warrior type monster, again being utilized in the combo with Spirit. I'm not playing any other Fire Formation spells or traps, because I don't think they're good enough. Then I play 3 copies of Soul Charge. Whilst 3 copies of Soul Charge might be a lot in a HAT, CAT, or FAT-esque deck, this deck is much more akin to a combo deck. I'm trying to utilize Spirit to make the Synchro plays and Exceed plays, and I quite quickly set up the graveyard with my artifact cards or the rest of my Fire Fist engine. That makes Soul Charge a lot better in this deck than the traditional Artifact Traptrix decks, which is why I'm playing 3 copies. And for the last spell, I play 3 copies of Artifact Ignition. Ignition can clear their back row to allow for Bear to get in directly, whilst also being a +1 to set your artifacts from your deck. So if you have a Sanctum, you can summon the Beagle tag and pop the one that you set. At this point in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, back removal was still being played. MST-esque effects like the Artifact Ignition can still hit cards like Mount Sylvania or Abyssphere against those combo decks, but also any real trap card in a mirror match. And since Ignition also has the bonus effect of setting an artifact monster from your deck, setting up your plays that way, it felt like an obvious free off. For traps, I play 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum. Sanctum is by far the strongest artifact card by being able to emergency teleport out any artifact, whilst also disrupting your opponent's plays and punishing them for blind MSTing your back row. As I'm playing Murmileo, I need some trap holds, so I'm playing 2 copies of Traptrix Trap Hold Nightmare. Nightmare is a great way of dealing with artifacts or Excitonite. Similar to the Spellbook deck, this deck has a lot of +1s, although the +1s are usually fake. Something like a Tenki is technically a +1, but the Tenki on field does not really count as a real card. But for Excitonite, it surely does. So you need to keep this guy in mind a lot when you play this format. And Traptrix Trap Hold Nightmare is a great way of dealing with the Excitonite. And then I'm playing 1 copy of the limited Bottomless Trap Hole. This is a very good card to search with your Traptrix Murmileo, seeing as it is much more versatile than something like Traptrix Trap Hold Nightmare. Often if you go first, you need to search a trap to stop your opponent's plays. It is usually better to search the Bottomless Trap Hole, seeing as this is harder to play around than the Traptrix Trap Hold Nightmare, but just opting to not use the effect of their special monster that turn and just attack over your Murmileo. So Bottomless can be a bit better in that scenario. Then I play 1 copy of Torrential Tribute, being a good board wipe to counteract Soul Charger plays. 1 copy of Compulsory Evacuation Device, a good answer to any extra deck threat aside from Excitonite. For the last card in the main deck, I play 1 copy of Solemn Warning, being an all-around just powerful trap at negating their summons. For the extra deck, I play 1 copy of Lion Emperor, mainly to recycle Spirit or Wolfbark, but you can also add back any Fire Fist monster in a pinch. 1 copy of Wind Up Senmains, being just a good generic rank 3 that you can make, either after you Soul Charge or if you don't want to make the Lion Emperor. 1 copy of Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald allows you to put back your artifact monsters in the grind game, or your powerful Fire Fist monsters. 1 copy of Lavalval Chain. This card works best if you play a graveyard card like Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos, but it still has cool uses of being able to Soul Charge back additional bodies by foolishing whatever you need, or putting a good monster to the top of your deck, ensuring you have follow-up. 1 copy of Black Ship of Corn, a great way to make hands miss timing. 1 copy of Fire Fist Cardinal. Cardinal is very similar to Madolche Queen Tiramisu, which if you saw my introduction to HAT format I explained was one of the best rank 4 monsters ever printed. And Cardinal is not far behind. 1 copy of Evil Swarm Excitonite. As you have a lot of fire formations in this deck, generally you have more cards than the opponent, but Exciton could still come up, so it's worthy a slot. Next I play 1 copy of Diamond Direwolf. Direwolf has the bonus effect of being able to destroy Beast Warriors, so you can keep this guy on the board and save his pop for the next turn. Otherwise, it's just a very good card at dealing with whatever threat you need, whilst putting bodies in the graveyard for Soul Charge. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. To be quite honest, this might be the best rank 4 ever printed, at least looking at it from the modern lens, by being a very good card in recent formats. And even in HAT format, it's very good against Mermails or Dragon Rulers to lock out their graveyard. 1 copy of Number 101 Silent Honor Arc, being a very good answer to punish opponents for putting their monsters in attack position. 1 copy of Tiger King. You can search out your fire formations from your deck and also negate your opponent's face-up monsters. The bonus effect of floating when he dies doesn't come up that often, but it's something to think about. 2 copies of Constellar Pleiades. I'm playing 2 copies of Pleiades because this is by far the best rank 5. Play this effect, you can bounce back your Tenkis to get additional usage out of them. For the Synchros, I play 1 copy of Horse Prince. I'll show some combos at the end of the deck profile, showcasing what you can do with this card in this format. And the last card is 1 Vulcan the Divine. Spirit locks you into Beast Warrior Synchros, and Vulcan the Divine is a Beast Warrior Synchro that you can make with Spirit and a level 3. For the side deck, I have 2 copies of DD Crow, 3 copies of Maxi. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Maxi can be a very unhealthy card, by getting Maxied when you go second trying to break a board, and playing under a Maxi can feel like being under a floodgate. But in HAT format, you can usually just pass the turn to a Maxi, and not feel like you are that far behind, especially against a slower deck like the Artifact Traptrix variants. But it's still a very good card at forcing the combo decks to slow down just a tad bit. Then I'm playing the hands, in the form of 2 Ice Hand and 2 Fire Hand. 1 copy of Dark Hole. Dark Hole is very good against certain decks where you want to clear their monsters, particularly if they make a very large field that are not immune to a Dark Hole, mainly so Bear can connect directly. One copy of Acid Trap Hole. Acid Trap Hole is a searchable way that Myrmelio can out a Gear armor before they flip it up. Do keep in mind that when you play against the Gear deck, often you want to use this card as Chainlink 2 if you have another card that you can activate. Say you have an Artifact Ignition and you intended to use this anyway on their back row. It is best to use Ignition Chainlink 1 and then Acid Trap Hole as Chainlink 2, as some of the Gear decks running around are playing the hands themselves, and this interaction will make the hand miss timing, thus not allowing it to activate. 2 copies of Debunk and 2 copies of Wiretap. If you enjoy my content, make sure to also subscribe to my second channel, linked in the description box down below. There I'll be posting more personalized and exclusive content.